The space station called Eternal Mercy floated in the dark between stars. It was a medical station, the biggest one in this part of the galaxy. Doctors from many different worlds worked there. They had treated patients from 47 different species. They had seen every kind of injury. They had seen every kind of sickness. They thought they knew everything about how bodies could break and how bodies could heal. They were wrong. Chief Medical Officer Valran stood in the main bay and watched the rescue shuttle dock. He was tall and thin, with skin that was almost see-through. He had 6 arms, each one ending in delicate fingers made for surgery. His people were known as the best doctors in the galaxy. Valran himself had saved thousands of lives over his long career. The doors of the shuttle opened. 2 rescue workers came out, carrying a stretcher between them. On the stretcher was a human. Valran had seen humans before. They were a young species, new to space travel. They were soft and weak compared to many other races. They had no claws, no armor, no poison. They could not see in the dark. They could not breathe underwater. By all logic, they should have died out long ago on their home planet. But they had not died out. They had spread across the stars instead. Valran found this interesting, but he had never understood why the rescue workers set the stretcher down on the examination table. One of them handed Valran a datapad with the patient information. "Her name is Park Yuna," the worker said. "She was security officer on the diplomatic ship Soul's Promise. The ship was attacked 6 hours ago. We pulled her from the wreckage." Valran looked at the datapad. Then he looked at the human on the table. Then he looked at the datapad again. "This cannot be correct," he said. The human woman was covered in blood. Her uniform was torn and burned. Her face was pale, almost gray. She was not moving. Valran activated the medical scanner above the table. Blue light washed over the human's body. The results appeared on the screen next to him. 17 bones were broken. Some were broken in more than one place. Her left arm was shattered. 3 ribs were cracked. Her skull had a fracture on the right side. One of her internal organs had burst. The humans called it a spleen. Blood was leaking inside her body in 3 different places. A piece of metal from the ship was stuck near her spine, just 2 small lengths from cutting through it. She had lost blood. A lot of blood. More blood than Valran's species could lose and still live. More blood than most species could lose and still live. "Prepare the preservation chamber," Valran said to his team. His voice was calm but sad. "We will keep the body cold and stable. Her people will want to take her home for their death rituals. I am not dead." Every person in the medical bay stopped moving. Every person stopped breathing. Valran felt his second heart skip a beat. The human's eyes were open. They were dark brown, almost black. They were looking right at him. "I am not dead," she said again. Her voice was quiet, like dry leaves moving in wind. But her words were clear. Did the ambassador survive? Ambassador Kang. Did he survive? Valran could not speak for a moment. He had seen many strange things in his career. He had never seen anything like this. The human should not be awake. The human should not be able to talk. The human should not be alive at all. "Please," Yuna said. "The ambassador." His family. There were children on the ship. 2 little girls. Bora and Jiwoo. They are 7 and 9 years old. Did they survive? Valran found his voice. "Officer Park, you must stay still. You are very badly hurt. Your injuries are... I know my injuries." Yuna's eyes did not leave his face. "I can feel all of them. Answer my question." One of the junior medics, a young being named Trissus, stepped forward. "We do not have information about other survivors yet. The rescue teams are still searching the wreckage. But please, you must rest. Your body is, my body will do what I tell it to do. Yuna closed her eyes for a moment. Pain moved across her face like a wave. But when she opened her eyes again, they were still sharp, still focused, still burning with something Velrun did not understand. Find out about the children, she said. Find out about the ambassador. I will wait. Velrun looked at Trissus. Trissus looked back at him. Neither of them knew what to say. How is she conscious? Trissus whispered. The pain alone should have shut down her brain. This level of trauma her nervous system should have turned off to protect itself. This is basic biology. Human biology, Velrun said slowly, may not be as basic as we thought. He moved closer to the examination table. The human watched him come. She did not look afraid. She did not look confused. She looked like a soldier waiting for a report. Officer Park, Velrun said carefully, I must ask you something. Why are you still awake? Why are you still fighting? Your body is telling you to sleep, to give up, to let go. Why do you refuse? Yuna was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was stronger than before. Because I was supposed to protect them, she said. The ambassador. The crew. The children. That was my job. Someone attacked our ship. Someone hurt the people I was supposed to keep safe. I do not know if they lived or died. I do not know who attacked us or why. She took a breath. It sounded wet and painful. Until I know these things, she said, I will not close my eyes. Until I know these things, I will not rest. Until I know these things, I will not die. My body does not get to make that choice. I do. Velrun stared at her. In all his years of medicine, he had never heard a patient say something like this. He had never seen a patient mean it, but this human meant it. He could see it in her eyes. She was not lying. She was not confused. She had simply decided that she would not die today, and her body was obeying her decision. Get me the information, Yuna said. I will wait. Velrun nodded slowly. He did not know what else to do. Trissus, he said, contact the rescue teams. Find out about the other survivors. Yes, Chief Medical Officer. As Trissus hurried away, Velrun stayed by the table. He watched the human woman's chest rise and fall, rise and fall. Each breath was a small battle. Each heartbeat was a tiny war dot. She was dying. He knew she was dying. Every machine in the room said she was dying, but she had decided not to die yet. And somehow, impossibly, her body was listening. Velrun began to understand, for the first time, why humans had spread across the stars. They were not the strongest species. They were not the fastest or the smartest. They did not have claws or armor or poison dot, but they had something else. Something that could not be measured by machines. Something that could not be explained by science. They had will. And their will, Velrun was beginning to realize, was the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. 12 hours passed. The human did not sleep. 20-4 hours passed. The human did not sleep. 40-8 hours passed. The human still did not sleep. Velrun stood outside the medical bay and watched through the window. Park Yuna lay on the table, her eyes open, staring at the ceiling. Machines beeped around her. Tubes carried medicine into her body. Screens showed her heartbeat, her breathing, her brain activity. All the numbers were wrong. All the numbers said she should be dead. But she was not dead. She was awake and waiting. The rescue teams had found the other survivors. Ambassador Kang was alive, but badly hurt. His wife, a woman named Hana, was alive with minor injuries. Their 2 daughters, Bora and Jiwoo, were scared but unhurt. 43 people on the ship had died. 81 had survived. When Velrun told Yuna this news, she had closed her eyes for exactly 3 seconds. When she opened them again, They were wet. 43, she said quietly. I knew some of them. Dong-ho worked in the kitchen. He made food from Earth for the crew. He was going home to meet his baby son for the first time. I am sorry, Velrun said. Do not be sorry. Find out who did this. Yuna's voice became hard again. Someone attacked a peaceful ship. Someone killed 43 people. I want to know who. I want to know why. That was 2 days ago. Since then, Yuna had not slept for even 1 minute. She would not take the drugs that would make her unconscious. She would not take the medicine that would stop her pain. Trissis came and stood next to Velrun. The young medic looked tired and confused. I do not understand, Trissis said. The pain signals from her body are constant. Her nervous system is screaming at her to stop, to shut down, to give up. Any other species would have gone into protective sleep by now. Their brains would have turned off to escape the pain. Why does she not do this? I asked her that question, Velrun said. She told me that pain is just information. She said she receives the information and then ignores it. That is not how biology works. That is what I thought too. Velrun shook his head slowly. I have been reading about humans. Their history is very strange. They come from a world that tried to kill them in many ways. Ice ages, plagues, predators, natural disasters. They should have died out many times. But every time their world tried to kill them, they refused to die. How can a species refuse to die? I do not know. But they did it. Again and again. They are very stubborn creatures. Inside the medical bay, Yuna moved. It was small at first, just her fingers curling. Then her arm lifted from the table. Then she began to push herself up. Velrun ran inside. Stop. What are you doing? You will hurt yourself more. I need to move. Yuna's face was tight with pain. Sweat covered her skin. But she kept pushing. My body is getting stiff. If I stay still too long, my muscles will forget how to work. Your body needs rest. My body needs to obey me. Yuna sat up on the table. She swung her legs over the side. Her broken arm hung in a special wrap, but she did not cry out. She did not make any sound at all. 2 junior medics ran forward to stop her. She looked at them. Just looked. They stopped moving. There was something in her eyes. Velrun had seen predator species before, hunters with sharp teeth and killer instincts. But he had never seen eyes like this. These eyes belonged to something that would not stop. Something that could not be stopped. There were children on that ship, Yuna said. Her voice was quiet, but it filled the room. Bora drew a picture for me the day before the attack. It was a picture of me fighting a space monster. She told me I was the bravest person she knew. Yuna took a breath. It hurt her. Velrun could see that. But she kept talking. Jiwoo asked me to teach her how to fight. She said she wanted to be a security officer when she grew up. She wanted to protect people like I protect people. Another breath. Another wave of pain. I could not protect them during the attack. I was knocked out when the first explosion hit. I woke up in the wreckage, bleeding, broken. But they survived. They survived because other people were brave. Not because of me. Yuna stood up from the table. Her legs shook, but they held her weight. I owe them something. I owe all of them something. The dead and the living. I owe them answers. I owe them justice. I will not rest until I have given them what I owe. Velrun stepped closer. Officer Park, please. Your body is healing, but it is healing slowly. If you push yourself too hard, you could die. Is that what you want? No. Yuna looked at him. I do not want to die. I have many things I still want to do. I want to see Earth again. I want to eat my mother's cooking. I want to see those children grow up safe and happy. I have much to live for. Then why do you push yourself? Because some things are more important than being careful. Some things are more important than being safe. Una took a step forward. Her legs shook again but did not fall. My grandmother told me something when I was young. She said that the body is just a house. The person living inside the house is what matters. If the house is damaged, you can fix it. But if the person inside gives up, the house falls down and cannot be fixed. What does that mean? It means I will not give up. It means my spirit is stronger than my wounds. It means I decide when I fall, not my body. Valron did not know what to say. In his medical training, he had learned that the body controlled the mind. When the body was hurt, the mind suffered. When the body was healed, the mind recovered. This was simple biology, but this human had it backwards. Her mind was controlling her body. Her will was forcing her broken flesh to obey. It was not supposed to be possible. And yet, here she was, standing, walking, refusing to fall. "Officer Park," Valron said slowly, "I think I need to study your species more carefully." For the first time, Una smiled. It was small and tired, but it was real. "Many species have said that," she said. "They usually get scared when they learn the truth." "What is the truth?" Una took another step, then another. She was walking now, slow and painful, but walking. "The truth is that we never stop," she said. "We break, but we keep moving. We bleed, but we keep fighting. We die, but we make sure our enemies die first. We are not the strongest or the fastest, but we are the most stubborn creatures in the universe. And that makes us very, very dangerous." She reached the window and looked out at the stars. "Somewhere out there," she said, "the people who attacked our ship are hiding. They think they got away with murder. They think they are safe." She put her good hand on the glass. "They are wrong. I am coming for them. And nothing in this galaxy will stop me. Not my wounds. Not my pain. Not even death itself." Valron watched her stand there, broken and bleeding and absolutely terrifying. He made a decision. He would help this human. Not because it was his job. Not because she was his patient. He would help her because he was beginning to understand something very important. It was better to be on the side of the humans than against them. Much, much better. The Galactic Medical Council met only for important matters. They were the best doctors from the best species in the galaxy. They studied life in all its forms. They knew how bodies worked, how they healed, how they died. Today, they were meeting about one human woman. Valron stood in the center of the council chamber. Around him, 17 senior doctors sat in a wide circle. They came from 12 different species. Some were tall, some were small. Some had fur, some had scales. Some had no bodies at all and existed only as patterns of light. Elder Morthax led the council. He was ancient, his gray skin wrinkled and spotted with age. He had been a doctor for over 300 years. He had seen everything, or so he thought. "Chief Medical Officer Valron," Morthax said, "you called this emergency meeting. You said it was urgent. Please explain." Valron pressed a button on his control pad. A large screen appeared in the center of the room. On the screen was a picture of Park Una. "This is a human," Valron said. "Her name is Park Una. She was injured in an attack on a diplomatic ship 6 days ago." 6 days? One of the doctors leaned forward. "What is her current status?" "She is alive. She is awake. She's walking around my medical bay and asking questions about the investigation into the attack." Silence fell over the council chamber. "That is not possible," Morthax said slowly. "Show us her injuries." Valron pressed another button. The screen changed to show the medical scans from Una's first day. The doctors studied the information. Some of them made sounds of shock. Some of them said nothing at all. This level of damage should kill any carbon-based life form, said a doctor with bright blue scales. Blood loss alone should have ended her life in minutes. The organ rupture should have caused system failure within hours, added a doctor made of crystal and light. The bone damage would put most species into deep shock immediately, said another. And yet, Valron said, she lived. Not only did she live, she stayed conscious. She refused all sleep medication. She refused all pain medication. She has been awake for 6 days straight, directing the investigation from her medical bed. How? Morthax demanded. How is this possible? Valron changed the screen again. Now it showed new data, readings he had taken over the past 6 days. Her body is producing massive amounts of certain chemicals. The humans call these chemicals adrenaline and endorphins. These chemicals reduce pain and increase energy. Most species produce small amounts during emergencies. This human is producing enough to affect a creature 10 times her size. That would burn through her body's resources in hours, said the crystal doctor. Yes, and that is exactly what is happening. She has lost weight. Her body is eating itself to fuel the healing process. By normal medical understanding, she should have collapsed 3 days ago. Then why has she not collapsed? Valron was quiet for a moment. Then he said something he never thought he would say as a doctor. I believe she is staying alive through willpower alone. The council chamber erupted in noise. Doctors talked over each other. Some laughed. Some called the idea foolish. Some demanded better explanations. Morthax raised his hand. Silence returned. Willpower, the elder said carefully, is not a medical force. It cannot repair tissue. It cannot replace blood. It cannot hold bones together. I know, Valron said. I have said the same thing my whole career. But I have watched this human for 6 days. I have studied her readings. I have talked to her many times. And I believe, Elder Morthax, that we do not understand human biology as well as we thought. Explain more. Valron pressed another button. The screen showed a graph of brain activity. This is her brain during the worst of her pain. See these patterns? In any other species, this level of pain causes the brain to shut down. It is a protection system. The mind escapes from the body to avoid suffering. He pointed to a specific part of the graph. But her brain does something different. Instead of shutting down, it produces more activity. It fights back against the pain. It refuses to let the body give up. I have never seen anything like it. What are you saying? Morthax asked. I am saying that humans have evolved differently than other species. Most life forms surrender when the battle becomes too hard. They save energy for another day. They accept defeat to survive. Valron looked around the room at all the doctors from all the different worlds. Humans do not do this. Humans fight until they cannot fight anymore. And then they keep fighting. Their bodies are not stronger than ours. But something inside them is different. Something in their minds, in their spirits, and whatever you want to call it. When they decide not to die, their bodies listen. This is not science, said the blue-scaled doctor. This is fantasy. It was fantasy until 6 days ago, Valron replied. Now, it is lying in my medical bay, asking me when she can begin physical training. More noise from the council. More arguments. More disbelief. Morthax raised his hand again. I have a question, the elder said. Why? Why does this human fight so hard to live? What is driving her? Duty, Valron said. She was a security officer on the attacked ship. She feels she failed to protect the people in her care. 43 beings died. She wants to know who killed them. She wants justice. And after she gets justice, will she die then? Valron thought about Yuna's eyes. He thought about her voice. He thought about the way she stood at the window, looking at the stars like they owed her something. I do not think so, he said. I think once she finishes this mission, she will find another reason to live. And another. And another. I think humans always find reasons to keep going. Morthax was quiet for a long time. The other doctors waited. I have been a medical professional for 300 years, the elder said finally. I have studied life in all its forms. I thought I understood how beings survive and how they die. He looked at the image of Yuna on the screen. I was wrong. There is something in these humans that we do not understand. Something that does not follow our rules. Something that makes them very different from every other species we have encountered. What should we do? Asked the crystal doctor. We study them, Morthax said. We learn from them. And we remember this day. Why remember this day? The elder's old eyes were serious and perhaps a little afraid. Because this is the day we learn that the galaxy has a new kind of creature in it. A creature that does not surrender. A creature that does not accept defeat. A creature that looks at death and says no. He turned off the screen. The humans call themselves weak compared to other species. They say they have no natural weapons, no natural armor. That they are wrong. They have the most dangerous weapon of all. What weapon is that? Morthax stood up slowly, his old joints creaking. They have hope, he said. Stubborn, unreasonable, unbreakable hope. And that, my fellow doctors, is something we should all respect. And fear. The council meeting ended. The doctors returned to their home worlds. They carried with them a new understanding and a new worry. The humans were coming. They were spreading across the stars. And they would not stop. Nothing would make them stop. Nothing ever had. On the 8th day, a new patient arrived at the medical station. His name was Kreth. He was a Vorn, a species known for hunting and fighting. The Vorn were tall and muscular, with thick green skin and sharp teeth. They were predators, born and raised to kill. Kreth had been captured by the rescue teams. He was one of the attackers who destroyed the Soul's Promise. His ship had been damaged during the escape, and he was caught floating in the wreckage. Now he lay in the secondary medical wing, his wounds being treated by the station's doctors. He would recover, and then he would be taken away for trial. Velrun made sure to put him far from Park Yuna. The human was still recovering. She did not need the stress of seeing one of the people who had hurt her. At least. That was what Velrun thought. He did not know how good human hearing was. It was late at night, station time. Most of the lights were dim. Most of the staff were resting. Only a few junior medics worked the night shift. One of them walked past Yuna's room and looked inside. The bed was empty. The medic's hearts began to beat faster. She looked around. No sign of the human. Then she saw the blood on the floor. Small drops, leading down the corridor. Leading toward the secondary wing. Leading toward Kreth. The medic ran. She found Velrun in his office, studying data on a screen. She burst through the door without knocking. Chief Medical Officer, the human is gone. Velrun jumped to his feet. What? Where? I found blood leading to the secondary wing. To the prisoner's room. They ran together through the empty corridors. The station was quiet except for the hum of machines and the soft beeping of monitors. Their footsteps echoed on the metal floors. They reached the secondary wing. They reached Kreth's door. Inside. They found Park Yuna. She was standing in front of Kreth's bed. One hand held the door frame to keep herself upright. The other hand held a small medical laser, the kind doctors use for precise cutting. Kreth was pressed against the wall behind his bed. His eyes were wide. His sharp teeth were showing, but not in anger. In fear. The most dangerous predator species in the sector was afraid of a broken human woman. Officer Park, Velrun said carefully. What are you doing? My job. Yuna did not turn around. Her eyes stayed on Kreth. This creature helped destroy my ship. He helped kill 43 people. I have questions. This is not the way. There is no other way. Yuna's voice was calm, almost gentle. That made it more frightening. The authorities will take him. They will ask polite questions. They will follow rules. Months will pass. Maybe years. The people who ordered this attack will have time to hide. Time to escape. Time to plan more attacks. She lifted the medical laser slightly. The blue light glowed in the dim room. I do not have time. The dead do not have time. So I will ask my questions now. Kreth found his voice. Help me. He shouted at Velrun. This human is crazy. She should be dead. Look at her. She can barely stand. Yes, Yuna agreed. I can barely stand. But I am standing. And you are sitting there, shaking like a scared child. Which one of us is really the weak one here? She took a step closer to the bed. Her legs trembled. Blood dripped from under her bandages. But she did not fall. Your people killed a man named Dongho, she said. He was a cook. He made food from Earth for the crew. He had a baby son he never got to meet. Your people killed him. Kreth said nothing. Your people killed a woman named Myra. She was an engineer. She fixed things when they broke. She told me she wanted to build a house on the moon somewhere after she retired. Your people killed her. Still nothing. Your people almost killed 2 little girls. Bora and Jiwoo, 7 and 9 years old. They did nothing wrong. They were just traveling with their parents. Your people would have killed them too, if the rescue teams had not arrived in time. Yuna leaned closer. Her dark eyes burned into Kreth's yellow ones. I want to know who ordered the attack. I want to know why. I want names. I want locations. I want everything. I was just following orders, Kreth said. His voice was weak now. I did not make the decisions. I just did what I was told. Then tell me who told you. I cannot. They will kill me. Yuna smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of something that had looked at death and won. They might kill you later, she said. I am here now. And I promise you, I am more frightening than anyone waiting for you out there. Velrun watched from the doorway. He knew he should stop this. He knew it was wrong, but he could not move. He could not look away. There was something happening here. Something old and deep. A predator was facing another predator, and the predator with the sharp teeth and thick skin was losing. The attack was ordered by a merchant group, Kreth said. His voice was a whisper now. They are called the Silent Hand. They wanted the rare minerals in the cargo bay. They paid us to take them. Where are they? I do not know their main base, but I know where they meet. A station in the Rim territories. It is called Market 4. They have an office there. That is where we received our payment. Who leads them? A female Vorn named Dressa. She is the one who hired us. She said it would be easy. She said that diplomatic ships never have real guards. Yuna was quiet for a moment. Then she nodded slowly. Thank you, she said. That was not so hard, was it? She turned and walked toward the door. Velrun stepped aside to let her pass. She moved past him, slow and painful. But steady dot in the doorway, she stopped. One more thing, she said without turning around. When you go to your trial, tell them everything. Tell them about the Silent Hand. Tell them about Dressa. Tell them about Market 4. If you do this, I will make sure the court knows you helped. And if I do not? Yuna finally turned. She looked at Kreth one last time. Then I will find you again. No matter how many years pass. No matter where you hide. I will find you, and we will have another conversation. And next time, I will not be so gentle. She walked out. Velrun stayed for a moment, looking at Kreth. The Vorn predator, the dangerous killer, sat on his bed with tears running down his face. "What is she?" Kreth whispered. "What are humans?" Valorant did not have an answer. He was still trying to understand it himself. He followed Yuna back to her room. She sat down on her bed slowly, carefully. Her face was gray with exhaustion. Blood soaked through her bandages. "You could have died," Valorant said. "The walk alone could have killed you, but it did not. Why did you risk it?" Yuna looked up at him. Despite everything, there was light in her eyes. Purpose. "Because now we know who did this. The Silent Hand. Dressa. Market 4. The authorities can act on this information. They can stop these people before they hurt anyone else. You could have waited. You could have let others ask the questions. Waiting is not my way." Yuna lay back on her bed. Donho cannot wait. Myra cannot wait. The dead cannot wait. Someone has to fight for them. Someone has to remember them. That is my job now. Velrun looked at this impossible woman, broken and bleeding and more alive than anyone he had ever met. "Rest now," he said softly. "You have earned it." "Yes," Yuna said. Her eyes closed. "I think I will rest. Just for a little while. There is still more work to do." For the first time in 8 days, she slept. 3 weeks had passed since the attack on the Soul's Promised Dock Park. Yuna stood at the large window in the recovery ward, watching the stars drift slowly past. Her reflection in the glass was thin and scarred. Dark circles still marked the skin under her eyes. Her left arm rested in a special healing wrap, but she was standing. She was alive. And she was smiling. The news had come that morning. The information Kreth gave them had worked. The Galactic authorities had raided Market 4. They had found the Silent Hand's office. They had arrested Dressa and 17 other members of her organization. The people who ordered the attack on the diplomatic ship were going to face justice. The families of the 43 dead would have answers. The survivors would have peace. Velrun entered the recovery ward quietly. He walked over to Yuna and stood beside her at the window. "You should be resting," he said. "I have been resting for 3 weeks," Yuna replied. "I am tired of resting. Your body needs more time to heal." "My body will heal while I stand here. I am not doing anything difficult. Just looking at the stars." Velrun could not argue with this logic, so he did not try. "I have news," he said instead. "The intelligence you gathered from Kreth has led to 17 arrests. The Vorn government has publicly said they had nothing to do with the attack. They are offering to pay money to the families of the dead. Money cannot bring back the dead. No, but it can help the living. It can help the children who lost parents. It can help the wives who lost husbands. It can help the families rebuild." Yuna nodded slowly. "That is something at least. There is more. Ambassador Kang's family has sent you a message. His wife Hana wrote it herself. She wants to thank you for everything you did. I did not do much. I was unconscious for most of the attack. You did more than you know. You stayed alive when you should have died. You got information that stopped the attackers. You gave hope to everyone who was watching." Yuna turned away from the window to look at Velrun. "Hope? Yes, your story has spread across the station, across the sector. People are talking about the human who would not die. The human who stood up when she should have fallen. The human who looked death in the eye and said no. I just did what had to be done. That is exactly the point." Velrun paused, choosing his words carefully. Most beings, when they are hurt that badly, they give up. They accept their fate. They let go. You did not do this. You fought. You kept fighting. People find that inspiring. Yuna was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Tell me about Bora and Jiwo, the ambassador's daughters. Are they all right?" They are safely back on Earth with their parents. The ambassador is recovering well. His family is together again, thanks in part to you. And Bora? Is she still drawing pictures? Valron smiled. Actually, yes. Ambassador Kang told me that Bora drew a new picture after she heard about what you did. She drew you standing up while monsters attacked you. She drew you winning. For the first time, Yuna laughed. It was a small sound, tired and rough, but real. That child has too much imagination. Or perhaps she sees the truth more clearly than adults do. Yuna turned back to the window. Outside, a transport ship was passing by, its lights blinking in the darkness of space. Valron, she said, can I ask you something? Of course. When I first arrived here, you thought I was dead. All your machines said I was dead. All your medical knowledge said I could not survive. Why did you keep trying to help me? Valron thought about this question. He remembered that first day, the shock of seeing her open her eyes, the sound of her voice asking about the ambassador. Because you told me you were not dead, he said. And I realized that perhaps you knew something my instruments did not. Your machines were not wrong. By all logic, I should have died. Yes, but you did not believe in logic that day. You believed in something else. And somehow, that something else was stronger. Yuna nodded slowly. My grandmother used to tell me something when I was young. She said that the body is like a house. The spirit living inside the house is what really matters. If the house is damaged, you can repair it. But if the spirit gives up, the house falls and cannot be fixed. Your body is the house. Your spirit is the person inside. Yes, in Korean, we have a word for this. Jangsin. It means spirit or mind or willpower. It is the thing that makes you who you are. My grandmother said that as long as your Jangsin is strong, your body will follow. Valron made a mental note of this word. He would add it to his research files later. Your body took orders from your spirit, he said. Something like that. We are stubborn creatures, we humans. We do not know when to quit. Sometimes that is a bad thing. Sometimes it leads us into trouble. But sometimes it keeps us alive when nothing else will. Valron looked at this human woman. This impossible patient who had taught him more about life and survival in 3 weeks than he had learned in decades of medical practice. Officer Park, he said, I believe your species may be the most terrifying thing in the galaxy. Yuna laughed again. And even that small sound carried the weight of everything she had survived. Good, she said. Maybe that means the next time someone thinks about attacking a peaceful ship full of families and children, they will remember what happened here. They will remember that a single broken human stood up when she should have fallen. They will remember that we do not quit. She turned to face him fully. We are not the strongest species. We are not the fastest or the smartest. We do not have claws or armor or poison. But we have something that cannot be measured. We have will. We have Jangsin. We have the stubbornness to keep going when everything says we should stop. She put her good hand on his shoulder. Thank you, Valron, for believing in me, for helping me, for not giving up on me, even when I should have been dead. Thank you for teaching me something new, Valron replied. I thought I understood how life worked. You showed me I was wrong. There is more to survival than biology. There is something else. Something powerful. Yuna smiled. There is always something else. Humans have learned this through thousands of years of suffering and struggling. Every time the universe tells us to die, we say no. Every time fate pushes us down, we stand back up. That is the human way. She turned back to the stars one final time. Somewhere out there are more people like Dressa. More criminals. More killers. More beings who think they can hurt the innocent and get away with it. They are wrong. Her eyes were hard now, focused on the distant lights. Because humans are out there too. And we do not forget. We do not forgive. We do not fall. She took a deep breath and let it out slowly. Not until we are ready. Not until we are done. Not until the job is finished. Valorant stood beside her in silence. He watched the stars with her. He thought about everything he had learned. Humans were strange creatures. Weak in many ways. Soft and fragile compared to other species. Easy to hurt. Easy to break. But they were not easy to defeat. They were not easy to stop. They had something inside them that made them keep going long after they should have fallen. And that, Valorant understood now, made them the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Not because they were strong, because they refused to be weak. Not because they could not be hurt, because they would not let their hurt stop them. Not because they could not die, because they chose when to die. On their own terms. In their own time. After their work was done, that was the human way. And the galaxy would never be the same because of it.